We are live. It is Mayday Plays Ironsworn, Eye of the Storm. I am Sergio, your guest, your host. I'm not the guest. The guest is with me today, and it is none other. You may know her as Agent Hyde from Doom to Repeat. You may know her as the brilliant sound designer of all of our actual play casts, and you will soon come to know her as the DM of our upcoming homebrew D&D game called Ashoka. It's none other than the sound kid herself. Eli, how you doing?
What
What
up,
up?
dude? Happy
Happy
Tuesday.
Tuesday. I'm so happy to have you here. This is going to be a lot of fun. Um, so,
Yeah,
yeah,
thanks,
for
man.
sure. All right. I'm paying attention to the chat here. I see some people saying hi to Eli. Looks like you got your little fan base here checking us out. Happy you guys are with us. I am going to recap what we did last session to kind of get everybody up to speed. So, with our first Iron Lander that we created, Half wants to bring in a big haul to impress the tribe. And so he went out and he made a bit of a mistake, a bit of a faux pas. He found some black iron, a coveted type of iron, but he brought back a chunk that he had broken off, and it pissed off the lead of the cartographers named Mia. Um, Not letting it dissuade him, even though Grandma Avella tried to convince him to change career paths, he decided to go out once again and to track down the thing that he noticed was messing with the black iron, eating it possibly. And sure enough, exploring, he found the legendary stormbird, one of the only creatures that the Ironlanders know eats iron. And he battled with it, and just when they came at a kind of crossroads, that's when they both realized, the Stormbird and Half, that they were being tracked by a bunch of wolves. And rather than risking the fight, they both looked at each other and Half convinced this Stormbird to follow him. They ran, they made camp. Half kind of had a tenuous bond, a relationship formed with this Stormbird, just enough to lure the Stormbird to what it actually wanted, that black iron. And when they went back to that abandoned village, there was a bunch of Ironlanders. And I'm going to retcon that Mai, was also there. Mai witnessed the brave actions of Half as he first of all, seeing that he has a Stormbird, but then secondly, that pack of wolves that had followed them to the abandoned village, and he fought them off, kept them at bay long enough for everyone to return to the tribe. And we ended the session with Half returning to the tribe after helping with this black iron haul, and with a legendary bird at his side. I am sure everyone stunned at the sight. We ended a little bit before midday. I would say a little bit before noon of the third day of our story. But Eli, the question remains: what do you want to do? We find you in an interesting position. We agreed as a team that if your character safely makes it back to the tribe, as Half has, you do also have the option of rolling up a new character. So, what would you like to do?
Hmm. I'm thinking that I want to kind of stick with Half for one more bout around, mainly because I Half has that really awesome extreme goal, and I think they're in a position where they can might be able to pursue that a little
Yes.
bit.
They want to right some kind of injustice within the tribe, which is interesting, and I agree with
Mhm.
you. Very evocative. So, you are going to stick with Half this session. Very cool. Very cool. So, talk a little bit about, set the scene for me. Half has just returned. Most of the tribe probably sees him coming in with a Stormbird. What happens next? Mia's there.
Um, I think like when Half kind of like enters into the tribe with this storm bird, I think people are kind of like gathering about. I don't think they've seen a storm bird for a very long period of
Mm,
time, so it's even just in awe to see. Maybe some have gone their whole lives without even witnessing a stormbird. So it's kind of just like the talk of the town, even to the point where maybe some of the elders or the leaders might come out and like see this, especially because Half needs to find a place to put this
Yeah,
bird
for sure.
because it's quite large.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and I imagine even the bird's kind of, little spooked. It's never seen this many, people before, and I'm sure people are having to keep their
Mhm.
distance. But yeah, like you said, I think the leaders of the tribe come out and see, and um, I think Mia would probably testify to what Half did. Kept us safe as we ran back to the tribe, brought this stormbird. Um, I think Mia would like probably have a new outlook on Half. Isn't there an Iron Speak word for like forgiveness or something like, would she put her hand on her heart and touch Half?
Um, yeah, she would just put a hand out to her chest eventually, and put the other hand on his shoulder, and kind of in a gesture of forgiveness and making amends. Maybe they were wrong in being so like abrasive with him when they had approached them with their black iron in the
For
first
sure.
place.
Yeah, so there's this kind of moment where everybody knows that Mia has or Mai has forgiven Half and is impressed by what he's done. This is certainly the next step towards him kind of becoming exactly what he wants, in the tribe. I feel like the leaders would probably say this is cause of celebration, or at the very
Mhm.
least, a meeting tonight. Let's have a village meeting to talk about what to do with the stormbird and a couple other important things, right?
Yeah,
All right. So what
totally.
does Half want to do with the rest of his day?
If there is an intention for a meeting, Half is going to probably stick around for that. But before that, I think Half wants to kind of maybe prep a little bit before that meeting or get some information. I think they want to go meet with somebody in the historian group to kind of see, like, when's the last time a stormbird has ever been like brought before the tribe. Does that mean anything to the tribe? Is it like a symbol of or an omen of some kind?
Hmm.
um
I'm glad you said that actually because I was
and
thinking the
or
stormbird might be an omen of bad things to come, right?
Yeah, or it might
Sure.
be like a prophecy of like like what became of the person who brought the stormbird back to the tribe, like any information I
I
can get
think a
story
gather
wise.
information role is totally applicable here. When you search an area, ask questions, conduct an investigation, or follow a track. So you're gonna roll plus wits with our friend Half. So on the character sheet, just click that plus wits button. I think you have a +1 to
Mhm.
it, if I'm not mistaken. And
Believe so.
gather information. I don't think you can roll with any kind of modifier. I'm just going to check real quick if my thing will open. Let's go to your assets. This is gather information. I think it's mostly to do with your companion possibly helping you if you are undertaking a journey, facing danger. Yeah, unfortunately, nothing about gathering information. So you're just going to do straight plus wits. Did you roll?
Yeah, I rolled already. I think I got a weak
So
hit
I see
or
two
or a miss.
rolls.
Oh,
Uh,
I
let's
only clicked it
see.
once.
We'll ignore whatever that top one is, and we'll go with this second roll. So it's an action score of 3. Yeah. So here's the thing: is that you do have momentum. You've got +4 momentum. So this could be a miss, which I think really would just translate to um, you reveal a dire threat. So that might possibly be that omen, or you can burn the momentum to make it a weak hit, and it's not as bad of news. I vote for the bad news because it's more
Mm,
interesting story wise. But
yeah,
okay,
I like the
okay.
bad news.
So
Yeah,
on a
no,
miss,
same.
your investigation unearths a dire threat or reveals an unwelcome truth that undermines your quest. pay the price. And I believe in Iron Speak, this is how you say pay the price.
Pay
So
the price, yes.
you are going to roll a D100, please.
Okay, 1 second. Roll.
Hopefully this isn't too bad. And hopefully it works with
Hopefully,
our Omen
yeah.
idea. Because there's some bad things on this pay the price roll. Here we go. What was that? 82? Okay.
82.
82. A surprising development complicates your quest. Well, I mean, I think it's kind of obvious. The surprising element is that, Half came with a hell of a haul, only to turn out that after he speaks with the historians, there's this theory that a stormbird actually means bad news. It means something bad is coming.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Yeah, no, totally.
Would you like to go ahead if you're going to say something?
No, yeah, totally. It would be like, that's why the leaders kind of want to gather and stuff like that, because even the historians would kind of pick up on that's potentially something that's going to change how the tribe operates. I think it's like something bigger.
So Half goes to the historians, and he can already tell probably that they're talking amongst themselves, and he sits with them. He has an ally, I believe her name is Mona, who is a historian, and Mona probably lets him in to hear the conversation. And sure enough, all of the historian elders are probably talking about the fact that the stormbird is bad news. Now, we can define that ourselves, or we can roll to find out what the theme of this omen might be. Let's do it. Roll a D100, please. $91.
91.
Pride is the theme. Pride. I'm not exactly sure how to interpret this. I'm also going to say... Thank you, Defon's Gem. I low-key can listen to Sergio all day. Thank you. I'm going to throw this to chat as well. Chat, if you have any ideas about what could the omen be. Now, we have a bunch... Eli, we have a bunch of elements to play with. First of all, the storm is currently heading north. And all Ironlanders know that north are the mountains, and that's difficult to cross, and that's possibly... having the whole tribe get lost in the storm because they can't keep up with the danger of the mountains. Maybe a stormbird implicates just general bad news, like something bad is coming. Maybe nobody knows what a stormbird means other than bad news.
I'm also thinking because, like, we have our ironmongers, right? And they're kind of, like, obsessed with, like, iron and being, like, just present in the heart of the storm. And maybe the Ironbird is kind of like, maybe before, like, we had the three leaders that kind of like lead our group. I can't remember the name.
There are the historians, the cartographers, and the ironmongers. Is it?
But what we called the elder group that leads
the triumvirate.
Group. The triumvirate. Maybe this was something like before the triumvirate was forged, or like maybe the ironmongers maybe had a little bit more sway, a little bit more pull, because they're like the military force and they have kind of like the strength and might. And maybe the return of a stormbird is kind of a symbol of like their time to maybe be more influential in the tribe.
And that kind of works with the pride theme, because the ironmongers would be like, a stormbird has arrived, it's our time, right? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we're talking about inner turmoil within the tribe. That's what probably the historians are realizing. This might cause problems within the tribe because the ironmongers are going to be pushing for something. Okay, all right. I think that's something. Should we just cut to our evening meeting of the tribe? I think that makes sense.
Sure.
You obviously he'd check
Yeah.
in on Grandma Vela and she'd make him lunch or something, but otherwise I think there's nothing really left that matters. So set the scene for us. What does this meeting, this gathering look like? Probably at the end of the day.
I think yeah, it's probably in the evening, probably in the like the center tent that holds the triumvirate. I don't think like everybody's kind of welcomed in like the main tent during these discussions. I think it's like mainly maybe like heads of households, influential members of the tribe, and then the of course the three like main members who lead the
Right.
triumvirate. And then half has been asked to join and be welcomed into this
Hmm.
tent for this meeting solely on the basis that they brought back this hall and the
For
stormbird,
special
so they're
recognition, for
kind of a
sure.
part of it. Yeah, for recognition and maybe more
Hmm.
insight and to try to figure out what the next step is.
Right. Okay. Um, so we're at this meeting, and I think that first they would acknowledge Half and his accomplishments, and everybody applause or does whatever. Oh, thanks Pond for Good for following us. Does whatever needs to be done to recognize him. There's applause. There's cheers. I'm sure Mai would recall the events of the day, but then they would probably move on to the more
Mhm.
serious news. The first of all, I think they would let everyone know we have received news from the forecasters that the storm is heading north, and we know that we are dangerously close to passing the hinterlands and heading into the mountainous terrain of the north, which obviously would be difficult. But then
Mhm.
there would have to be the discussion of the stormbird. Now, would the stormbird would it be brought up blatantly, or would like the ironmongers force the subject? I almost feel like the historians might not want to bring it up.
I think that they're kind of skating over the topic at hand. Like they're not bringing it up right away. I think that they're currently trying to discuss the matters of moving north and getting ready to potentially having to trek through the mountains and how they need to prepare the tribe for that. What items they might need to shed away. What getting all that prep stuff ready. And I think in the process of all of that, the ironmongers haven't been talking at
Hmm.
all. Maybe they're like whispering to each other lightly, and finally like the leader of it kind of has enough and then like wants to just like blatantly like stands up and just like, we need to talk about the stormbird and we need to talk about why it's here and it's in our tribe, and we know what it
For
means.
sure, for sure. So
So
they
let's
bring it
clear
up.
the air about it.
Yeah. So do we want to decide kind of what the ironmongers want to say? I suppose. I mean, like, I don't think the Stormbird necessarily means that the ironmongers feel like they have a right to lead, but
Mhm.
obviously there's an implication that the Stormbird implies something where the ironmongers might excel or might it might be their time. I'm trying to think what is the conflict that will arise in this conversation.
Mhm.
We
So
could, if you wanted, roll on the action oracle page to see kind of what the ironmongers, maybe what the bigger motivation is here or something.
yeah,
Okay,
let's
so
do it.
roll a
Let's do it.
d100. Let's see what comes of
100.
this.
38.
A 38. Okay, so is this a settlement trouble, or are we just trying to define the action? Because I think we rolled a more interesting 38 under settlement trouble, which is in league with the enemy. Otherwise,
Ooh.
the
Ooh.
action of the ironmongers is share, and I'm not exact. Maybe they want to share maybe they want more of the share of responsibility of deciding what to do for the tribe.
Mm, no, but I like the league with the enemy though, because it kind of goes against the pride
Hmm.
and stuff. Because war ironmongers are the
Yeah.
defense role of the
Yeah.
tribe, so they would be more cautious and more not like about like potential enemies or potential threats that might harm the
And we
overall
did
tribe.
talk about that Half has a little bit of a beef with the Ironmonger leader, though we haven't defined their name. I think Half is not a big fan of the Ironmongers, especially
Yes.
their leader. Okay, so when we say in league with the enemy, it doesn't necessarily have to mean, Sauron. It could just be enemy being what is right for the tribe, right? So the
Hmm.
Ironmongers want to do something that is probably not in the best interest of the tribe. Um, we could further define that, or you can kind of come up with it now. We could try to we could make a character goal roll under our oracles thing if you wanted to do that.
Yeah, let's try
Okay,
that.
go
Sure.
ahead and roll the d100. Let's see what we find. 77.
77.
They want to avenge a wrong. Avenge a wrong. So there's something that happened that the Ironmongers feel was done improperly, or they were wronged. Maybe they were. Maybe the entire tribe was wronged. Maybe their last leader was wronged, left in the
Mhm.
storm or something. Maybe the Ironmongers want to do something dangerous because someone that was wronged in the past was left behind somewhere. And maybe they know that they're close by. If the storm sweeps over them or something. Do you get what I mean?
Since Yeah, since we are going
Yeah.
north and we are potentially reaching mountain ranges, maybe there's something perilous in the north that the ironmongers might want to reach for. Maybe it is an obelisk or an ironsworn that might have more information. Somebody from their tribe and their people that might be able to um, give information or might have a secret or something like that or a truth that the ironmongers have been seeking for a long time. Again, somebody who was wrong. Maybe it was a leader who was wronged, was forced to take the iron vow, been stuck out in the storm somewhere in that region, but them coming back might be able to bring,
Hmm. Hmm.
truth and justice to the ironmongers. And the iron bird is like a symbol of like that's the
Right.
right path
Right.
to
Like the
go.
stormbird appearing is like, oh, this is an omen that all signs point to this person or this place. Now, if it was a place,
Mhm.
it would have to be some place that they had to leave behind because the storm was moving on, right? Because they couldn't like hold a fortress. If it was a
Yeah.
leader, we did agree that like this leader, if they're left, they'd be old, right? Because we only really leave the
Mhm.
elderly out to become Ironsworn. Or that leader was somehow left behind because we couldn't get them out in time or something. So maybe there's a place where a
Yeah.
former Ironmonger leader was left behind, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, like, they're suspected that that was, like, the last place, like, they went out into the mountains to do
Hmm.
something. They never got back in time, so we assume that they're out there still trapped in
Hmm.
the storm, and bringing them back might be something that the ironmongers have been wanting to do for a long
Right.
time, haven't had a chance to be able to do it
Maybe this
yet.
is a legendary leader because they were, the archetypal kind of ironmonger, tough and not willing to bend. And I would even imagine the historians, the cartographers, were relatively relieved when that person didn't return from, the whatever scout or whatever, because a little bit of balance was brought to the
Yeah.
tribe. But now this guy, the potential of him coming back, obviously scares them. Okay, so now that
It's
we've kind of
yeah,
defined
yeah.
that, we can assume that there's going to be a conflict in this meeting where the historians are saying, no, this doesn't mean that, or no, this is a waste of resources to go off and try to find this place where this leader was left behind. How does this get resolved? Does it get resolved? Does Half get in the middle of this and attempt to compel one side or the other to do something? We can imagine it
Hmm.
gets to a fever pitch, where the ironmongers are like, "This is what we want," and the other 2/3 are a little disturbed by it.
Well, I mean, half might not necessarily fully agree with wanting to elevate the ironmongers anymore simply because they don't like the current
Hmm.
leader. And, if they don't like the current leader now, what's a new leader going to potentially do for them?
Someone that is
Especially one that
supposedly
they've
even worse than the current leader.
yeah, exactly. And they also like forecasters work alongside the historians, so they typically would probably favor them in some way.
Mm,
Um, I think Half is more concerned with the Ironbird though, because I think he made a small bond with the creature, though, and he likes birds, so he's more interested in the well-being of like what's going to happen to this
okay.
Ironbird
Okay.
afterwards.
I'm
Uh,
sure that subject comes up, and I'm sure there are plenty of Ironlanders that raise their hand and say, "I can tame the bird. I can tame him." You know.
yeah.
So is Half
Um,
then not interested in the squabble and more interested in staking some kind of claim with the Stormbird?
yeah, I think so. Because I also think forecasters are a little passive
For
in the
sure.
politics of the tribe because they're more dealing with the outsides of it. So uh though he wants to be like an influential member to the tribe, maybe it's not necessarily in the politics of things, it's more of in something else, and he's still trying to find what it is.
So then, what does he do? What is kind of the point of this meeting for Half? Does he speak up and just say, "I want to try to tame the Stormbird"?
Yeah, I think regardless of what, you know um like regardless of what you guys decide on how we proceed with this information, I'd like to maybe keep the
Hmm.
Stormbird. It might be a valuable asset to the forecasters who live on the edge of the storm. It might be beneficial just, for somebody to have it. And since you've already made claims, I brought it back. I've tamed it to some
Hmm.
degree. I want an opportunity to um, tame
Yeah,
this
that
bird
makes sense. I
fully.
want first dibs.
Yeah, I want
Okay,
first
so
dibs, first
this
right.
sounds like a compel roll nonetheless. Like, oh snap, Parker Woodley just subscribed. That's amazing. Thanks, Parker.
Hey,
That's so cool. Our first
thanks, dude.
subscription. Awesome. Thank you, Parker.
Hey.
We are compelling the tribe to allow um, Half to kind of have custodianship, or whatever the word is, over this Stormbird, right? Does that make sense? All
Yeah.
right, so you are trying to kind of barter or convince. So you're going to roll plus heart. You may add plus
Smart.
one if you share a bond, and I guess it's fair to say that you have a bond with the tribe. So I'll say you can
Tribe.
add plus
Sweet,
one to
sweet,
that.
sweet.
Let's see what you get.
Where is my cursor? Plus one.
That's a weak hit.
I got a
Okay.
weak hit.
On a weak hit, as above, meaning they'll do what you want or share what they know, you may take plus one momentum. So on your character sheet, go from, I think it's two, go to three now on your momentum. On top of this, they ask something of you in return. Envision what they want. So the tribe agrees that you are allowed to attempt to tame the Stormbird, but they ask something of you in return. To me, the Ironmongers would demand that you help them find their legendary hero. Maybe the historians or the cartographers want something else
Yeah.
from you.
I think I think that's the
Okay,
one that makes more sense, that the iron because the Iron Bird is the only one that can
true,
kind of trek out of the
true.
storm in the event that they need to do that. You and if Half succeeds, they would be the only person or the most successful person to go and find this
Gotcha.
leader.
So, all right. I think that makes total sense. That works for me. Um, what's left to decide is the evening comes to a close, right? Maybe the evening closes with a little bit of dancing, a little bit of drinking. You know what I mean? We always want to end the night on a good
Mhm.
time, right? So the next day comes.
Yes.
It's the beginning of day 4. Um, what is the first move? First of all, let's see if your character. Let me make sure everything's working good here. Yeah, I want to see if your character has how their supply is. Up, where'd you go? Let me open up the character sheet. You tell me if you can see plus what for your health and supply. Like, do you need to sojourn? I guess is what I'm wondering. Okay, so the maximum is 5, so you are kind of low on your supplies. So if you wanted, you could attempt in the beginning part of the day, when you spend time in a community seeking assistance, you can basically, collect supplies amongst your tribe and see if they, if you can get what you need to increase your supply score, right? Awesome. Right?
Um,
So is that what you think you want to do? Okay.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I definitely want to get
all right.
supplies.
So you are going to roll, let's see. You're going to roll plus heart, and you can add +1 because you have a bond with the tribe. Weak hit. On a weak hit, you can choose one, and there's a whole bunch, but probably the one that's most pertinent is you can recover provisions. You would take +2 to your supply. Sounds good. So your supply is going to go from +2 to +4, and you will be about as ready as you can be. We'll say that just takes you kind of most of the morning. It's, still relatively early, maybe 9 or so. What is the next step? Do you want to gather any more information, or do you just kind of want to head out? I think that the ironmongers would be waiting for you when you're ready. Like everyone will kind of head out. I assume you and like a party of ironmongers.
Them at their main like tent
Okay.
and stuff, and greet them, and get ready to.
And I imagine the ironmongers, their tent has the portable forge, so there's smoke billowing, and it's probably they're all dirty and covered in coal and iron and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, they also have like small corrals for like all the horses and stuff that they raise for like mounted
That's right.
attacks
That's
and
right.
stuff like that for
So
hunting.
they have some horses. Do you think that they're going to travel on the horses?
I think so. Especially since we're going into more them into this area
Yeah, and that's
of where
actually
we're
worth
heading north.
remembering that, on our hex map, technically the tribe always tries to remain in the center, which means that they'd be in pretty hilly territory right now. So I'm sure that they're either having to kind of weave east or west a little bit to get around some big hills. So it's taking a little bit more time than usual because it's starting to get bumpy around here. But yeah, so the horses would totally come into use. Let's decide the name of the leader of this small band of ironmongers. Why don't you roll a d100 and let's come up with a name.
50.
Fiddy. That is Edda. 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 So our leader is Edda. And you know what? Let's also define kind of what their personality is like. Go ahead and roll me another d100. 100. They are hostile.
Oh no!
So I don't
that's
think
why I don't like them.
I don't know if they'd straight up attack you, but I certainly think that they are not friendly at all towards you. Probably disgusted by the fact that you turned down the opportunity to be an ironmonger, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they probably
like who wouldn't want to be an ironmonger, Like,
so they probably they probably kind of throw something disparaging your way in words, and
I don't
say
even
you're
think
a
they say
fool,
anything.
right?
It's just like that yeah. Or I think it's more of just like that discontented, like angry, like look, like we got to do this, but like not even saying anything. Maybe even like a spit at the feet.
Yeah,
kind of like just disrespectful.
Absolutely. Okay,
and dejected.
We have our leader Edda, and we are going to head out. I want this to be. This could be an undertake a journey, but I think we implied from. I just noticed that we don't see your face. Now we see your face. Okay, I just noticed. I think we implied that the location of this former leader is somewhere within reach, right? Or is it still in the storm? I think it for it to be pertinent, it's probably within reach, like right on the edges.
It's yeah, it's like just on the edge, residual edges of the storm, like somewhere up in that mountainous region in that hex.
It would be kind of dangerous if it was to the east or to the west, because we don't know if the storm is going to suddenly move direction. So why don't you? What do you
Yeah.
think about rolling a d4 or roll a d3,
Sure.
and it's either north, east, or west?
Sure.
So roll a d4, and we'll ignore the 1, 4. How do we want to do it?
Hold on.
You're rolling a d4
Oh,
in Twitch?
Yep, my bad. I got too many tabs open.
I wish
was
we could
like,
roll
why
d4s in
didn't you
Twitch.
do it? That'd be hilarious. Roll D4.
You might just be able to do
Bells.
/d4. But you also have the in the top left, there's like a little column, and if you click the little dice towards the bottom, it'll auto roll a d4 for you.
There you go.
2. Okay, so we decided north was 1. Southeast. Let's see, north, south, east. So we'll say that east, this location is east. So it's
Okay.
more like in the this area to the east where it's kind of hilly and foresty. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll say we head out. We'll say that the ironmongers recall where this is, so we don't need to undertake a journey unless you think it's relevant.
No, I don't think it's relevant. I think they've known this place for a while, and they've been waiting for the day that they could try to attack.
All right, so we get to do something fun. We're going to try some delve mechanics. These are kind of delving into dungeon style mechanics for Ironsworn, and this is totally applicable. So we're going to discover what it is that this place is like. The first thing we have to do is we need to envision the surroundings. So we're going to decide what this place is like. We're going to choose a theme, and we're going to choose a domain. The first thing is if you go to the character sheet, and then you go to, I think there's a delve or sites. Go to sites. And then we're going to choose themes and domains. So right now it says Haunted Tanglewood, but I'd like to randomize that a little bit. Let's see. Looks like there's a way to choose them. Let me see. I erase it. How do we choose them? I think we might just have to roll for it, and I have the cards here. I printed them out. So, okay. So, why don't you roll a... Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Roll a d12.
D12.
A 4. 1,
4.
2, 3, 4. A ruin. The crumbling legacy of a dead civilization. Perfect. So within within domain, put ruin. Okay, and then roll a d8 to find the theme of this place. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hallowed, the faithful worship here. So this is a crumbling legacy of a dead civilization that is hallowed, a hallowed ruin. You can name it hallowed. Let's talk about this. What is this hallowed ruin? Obviously, this implies a cathedral or a temple of some kind, huh?
Yeah. Well, what about like, isn't there like our obelisks, like where we put stuff? Wasn't also considered places of like worship or could be like a temple or something? So maybe that's what he was trying to do. Maybe he was trying to visit like the temple of it, like his ancestors or something meaningful to the tribe, and got lost on that pilgrimage.
Totally. And you're saying that it should be these pillars that we've discussed before. Okay, so
Yes.
the hollowed part makes sense, but what about the ruined part of it? I mean, were these pillars destroyed? Was there something built around the pillars that was destroyed? Crumbling legacy of a
Mm,
dead civilization. I kind of, it would be kind of interesting, and we can ask the Oracle, but it would be kind of interesting if it was like a building that once existed around the pillars, and it's like mostly crumbling, but clearly whoever here was before, you know, had some kind of admiration for the pillars.
yeah, because that'd be interesting because we're a nomadic tribe, and to have or to see structures and stuff is not
Hmm.
really common. Someone would have had to take the time to build this, and but the storm constantly moves. Maybe it's something from
Yeah,
even well
I
before
think
the
that's
tribe
yeah.
itself. Maybe it's the answer to the
I think
storm,
that's
yeah, and
obviously
all of
the
that stuff.
implications that this was built before the storm. Okay, we've chosen the theme and the domain. Now, let's choose how difficult is this site. We're going to choose whether it's a troublesome, a dangerous, a formidable, an extreme, or an epic site. Um, you
Okay.
know, it's a place of power. You know, this iron, these iron pillars. Something obviously had to have been tough enough to kind of keep the leader from being able to return. So I think at the
Hmm.
very least dangerous.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, Especially since like there's a chance that the storm might be moving that
hmm.
direction. There's not enough time.
Okay, I'm going to argue
Um,
then because not only is the place possibly dangerous, but the potential of the storm moving suddenly. I'm going to say that this should be for a formidable site.
okay.
So that means every time we gain any kind of progress in this site, you're only going to mark one progress, which is one complete check mark under the squares. Uh, there's that
Okay.
little star. So you'll only mark one
Okay, I
every
see.
time we mark progress. Make sense? Okay,
Sweet.
cool. So we've discovered the difficulty of it. We let's let's roll to kind of find out what you immediately come upon, right? So roll me a d100.
Sure.
We're going to discover a feature about this place.
Wonderful.
94. Something unusual or unexpected. So set the scene for us. You know, you guys are coming in into a more forested, hilly area. They find the location.
Hmm.
It's a ruined, crumbling building of some kind, and maybe through the ruins you can see some of the pillars, the iron pillars. But there's something unusual or unexpected. We could roll for it if you wanted to see what that unusual, unexpected thing is.
Yeah, let's
Okay, so
roll.
let's see. What could it be? I'm trying to decide what the appropriate settlement name, settlement trouble. I think something unusual or unexpected. Okay, is it dangerous or is it not dangerous? Let's ask the oracle, right? So does it
Yeah.
seem likely or unlikely or 50-50 that something like physically dangerous is here? Okay, so
I
roll
think
a
it
d100. If you roll
50-50.
higher than 51, then it is something dangerous.
Oh, keep rolling in the chat. God damn it.
Maybe when we hit our membership status or whatever that next tier up, maybe we'll be able to roll.
Get a
Actually, I
dice
bet you there
bottle
is a
to
dice bot or
and
something that you could install. A 94? No, no, no.
no, no. But now it's not gonna roll for me. What the fuck?
I think using that dice thing in the top left is the easiest way to do it.
Yeah. I can't see where it is.
Um, slash D100 slash chat. Do you know how to do it in Roll20 where you can roll something? There's definitely a slash and there's definitely a roll somewhere involved there, but oh, you just rolled. Great. 53.
There, I got it. 53.
53. And we are oh, okay, here we go. We're rolling it on our domain cards. 53. Collapsed architecture. Oh no, we already decided something unusual or unexpected. But a 53 then is going to be...
Dangerous, right?
Well, just realized I'm not sure what table we're rolling on. Major.
We were just rolling to see
Oh,
if
that's right.
something
That's
was
right. That's
dangerous or
right.
not.
So it is something dangerous.
So,
Okay, since it is something dangerous, roll another d100.
well,
If you can.
I
There
will.
you
I
go.
will. It's
You
not in the
got it.
chat. There we go. 90, 90, 90,
Oh,
90.
a 90.
What is
Oh,
it?
interesting. Interesting.
What does that
There actually
mean?
doesn't seem to be. We're just gonna. Let's see. This is interesting because it doesn't have a 90 under the dangers, which is weird. Let's go with, I guess, whatever the highest roll is. Ancient secrets best left buried. Ancient secrets best left buried.
Ooh. Okay.
What does that mean to you? Ancient secrets
Well,
that are unusual or
s- one of
unexpected.
one of the tribe's goals was like, or like one of the historians' goals was to try to figure out like the creation of the storm and like
Hmm.
why it exists, and that's kind of been lost to like history or time. And since this is a structure and a ruin, there has to be something here that like depicts that, whether it's like maybe it's like a tapestry or like a mural
Oh,
painted on the side of the wall
interesting.
that like that depicts like an event or something prior to the storm, like a deity or something even weirder.
Yeah, I'm into this. Ancient secrets best left buried. Yeah, I think you're right. A mural or something depicting maybe man and the storm interacting in some way. Maybe even an implication that man is the cause of the storm or something like that. We could decide using an oracle roll if if man is involved or not. What about, we could throw it to the audience too. What do you think about putting up a poll real quick? So
Sure.
let's do a poll and the audience can answer. If the question is, what does this reveal, right? Like what does this mural reveal? Man created the storm, elves created the storm, or something else created the storm, right? Let's try that out, and there'll be a minute, chat, for you to answer. Help us out. You are being our online oracles. Ancient secrets.
1 second.
Best left buried. Cool.
Oh, is that?
So definitely try to answer that, chat, when you can, and we'll move on. In the meantime, though, Eli, the next thing that you can do now that you have located a location is delve the depths. When you traverse an area with a perilous sight, envision your surroundings, then consider your approach. So you can either roll with haste, with stealth, with intuition or expertise, and you would then roll and we'd find out kind of what happens next. But is that what you want to do? Do you want to move on? Do you want to survey the area and get a better idea of what's happening? Do you want to focus on the murals?
I kind of want to focus on the murals because that's the most interesting. Because I feel like everybody's kind of like fanned out, searching through this kind of ruin, and that's what like half discovers, like with like a torch and stuff, and is like looking at it, but it's like really big, and you kind of have to walk a little bit throughout this building to kind of get the full, um, like spectacle of what it is. And maybe they're also trying to gather the information so that they can take it back to the historians, because that's a part of their role as well, is when they find things is to send word back about it.
Okay. First of all, we got our answer from chat. Something else created these murals, or implies that something else created the storm. We can decide what that is, or we can kind of come up with it as we go. I don't think that's as important as the fact that you want to gather information, right? Is that what you just said? Now, here's the
Yes.
thing.
Yes, I want to
The
gather information.
ironmongers probably don't. They probably just want to rush in, right? I would imagine that they think they know where their leader is. Do you
Yeah,
want to
totally.
first try to compel them to stay back, or do you want to just let them rush in and do what they want?
I kind of want to compel them because I do want to be present for when they see their
Gotcha.
leader. I want to get that. I want to
All
get that
right, so you
information
are
too.
going to make a compel roll unless you can think of a way to threaten or incite or lie or swindle to them. You're going to have to roll.
They are.
Yep.
They already don't
Yeah,
like me.
true.
so,
So you're going to be
I should
rolling
swindle them.
with heart, and I'm going to say that you don't
Okay.
technically share a bond with the ironmongers, so it's just plus heart. You're going to have +2 to that. Okay, a weak hit. On a weak hit,
hit.
as above, but they ask something of you in return. So you add +1 to your momentum at the bottom of your character sheet, but they ask something of you in return. What do they want from you? We can roll for it, or we can kind of come up with something.
The only thing I can think of, like right offhand, would be the stormbird itself, since half has state claims to try to tame it, to try to keep it for the forecasters. The ironmongers probably would want that, but we could also roll if there's a better
I mean, I think you're in the right direction. Maybe what it is they say, sure, you can waste time gathering information out here, but we want the reins of the stormbird. We want to bring it in with us. Don't like that?
That, or they're still interested in half joining the ironmongers, and they would have to agree to maybe come back to joining the ironmongers instead of going back out to the forecasters at the end of this mission.
It's interesting. It's kind of a weird request to make at this moment.
Yeah.
I see where you're going at, though. Let's see what happens if we roll.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead and roll a d100.
Got you. God damn.
They want you to take some kind of action. There you go.
11.
Well, for an action under the action table to inspire a discovery, event, character, goal, or situation, I got break. B-R-E-A-K, break. They want you to break. What they want is a break of some kind. I wonder if they're... If you break from us now, to gather information, we want you to stay away from us. We want you to... Parker Woodley says Kit Kat bar. I want you to break the Kit Kat bar. I'm not sure. Maybe they want you to... Go ahead.
Maybe break the ruins? Maybe break up the...
Yeah, I was kind of thinking of that. Maybe that's what they say, is they say, go ahead, but what the information you need to gather is how to, effectively bring down these last couple of walls that are standing.
Okay.
I think that's something.
Maybe they think the leader might be on the other side of the room or something like that, and you got to break down this thing to get into the next room, or you just... my premise was they don't want this information really out there, so destroying the ruins so they can't find it again would be...
Maybe deface the mural, huh? The mural that suggests that there's something else out there besides man.
Yeah.
I think...
Because if there's a way to stop the storm, then the ironmongers lose some of their goals and purpose, because they believe in the storm and they trust the storm.
Sure. So it's heretical, you know, whatever is in these murals. So they say to you,
Yeah.
sure, but before we leave, we're going to destroy any evidence, you know, of these murals and such. And that's kind of the agreement that they make with you.
Yeah.
Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, I think that they are definitely going to head in, and you will lose sight of them. But it's time to
Mm-hmm.
gather information. Go ahead and make a
Sweet.
plus wits roll, and let's see what you get.
Wits.
A weak
Weak
hit.
hit.
On a weak hit, the information complicates your quest or introduces a new danger. Envision what you discover and take +1 momentum. So your momentum goes up by 1, but the information complicates your quest or introduces a new danger. Now, one thing I just remembered we didn't do is we didn't decide who are the denizens of this delve site, implying that there might be things here that are dangerous, and maybe that's even revealed on the murals that you continue to see as you do a circle of this location. Maybe you see something that implies that there's something dangerous in this building.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, do we have to roll something for that on the denizen?
Yes, yes and no. So we basically just have to decide what are the likely things that we will find here.
Okay.
There are 3. If you go to your character sheet, there are 3 levels to the enemies that you can find. Let me open up yours. If you go to sites, and you see there's denizens, very common, uncommon, and rare, right?
Yes.
So let's decide what are at least 2 very common things that we would find here. For example, wolves might be here, some kind of animal. These are also kind of things that are relatively easy on the totem pole of combating. There might be zombies. You know, that might be something.
Instead of wolves, I'm gonna say a bear.
Ooh, okay.
Because bears live in caves.
Absolutely. I think that's cool. I think you should put bear under common. So go ahead and maybe the 28 to 41 do a bear.
Bears. How about bats for very
Okay, sure.
common?
Let's do bats for very common. I think that we can do another possible common one is spiders. Maybe there's, or we can put uncommon as like a giant spider.
Giant spider, uncommon. Yeah.
And finally, let's do something that's kind of rare. Let's decide on something that's almost even a little supernatural, whether it be a spirit or whether it be a ghoul or a something, you know, something a little bit more than just your typical creature.
Ooh, I like spirits.
Okay.
I like spirits. Maybe it's something that was left behind here.
I like that. Let me look up what there are, because there is denizens in the book. There's something called a husk. A husk is what remains of an Ironlander whose body, mind, and soul are hollowed out by dark magic. In their unquenchable thirst for power, they use their own essence to power foul rituals. Sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right, so mark under rare that there is a husk somewhere in here in this place. So we have bats, bears, possibly giant spiders, and this husk. So we've chosen our enemies and set the scene for me. You know, he Half has done a circle around. And what is it that implies to him that there could be something really dangerous, like a husk here?
I think that like as he's been kind of just like looking at all of the murals and stuff on the walls. You know, there's the depictions about the storms, there's depictions about other stuff. in terms of like the husk, maybe there's just on the mural like maybe symbols and images of like a ritual being occurring, and like it's like a ring, and like there's just this
Hmm.
blackish looking body that's just in the
Hmm.
center of that ring. And like half has never seen something quite like that before, but it's kind of like demonically like depicted, and it's like even crude, like it was like hand painted, whereas like the other stuff were kind of like chiseled in, and like it has like a level of
Hmm.
like structure. This is kind of more like darker and more primitive, like almost like it's like even further back into the history of whatever this ruin like depicts. It's like in a back corner
And
somewhere.
Half knows that this thing might be in that temple, and those foolish ironmongers have already rushed in, so he's got to go after them, right? So he rushes in
Yeah,
after
yeah.
them, and we'll find out what happens after our break. We'll
Oh
take a
no.
quick 5-minute break. We'll be right back, guys. All right, we are back. Now, one thing I forgot to do before we went on this delving adventure is that our friend Half technically has enough experience. He has +2 experience to upgrade one of his assets. And Eli wants to upgrade one of the assets. We have a couple of options. You can upgrade the companion and give it the fierce ability, meaning when you attack and you are using it to distract a foe, you gain a +1 on that attack or whatever you're doing. You can make it vigilant. When you face danger, it helps you in that sense. Or you can upgrade the Thunderbringer ability. When you strike a foe, you will get +1 on your next attack and you gain some momentum. When you turn the tide, you may strike with all the fury that you can muster. You may reroll any dice and inflict +2 harm on a strong hit, but count a weak hit as a miss. So there's a price to pay for it. Or when you gather information by investigating a devious scheme, you may roll +shadow. If you do, take +2 momentum on a hit. So these are the 5 options. Go ahead and put it up, Eli, into the chat. And whatever chat decides is what we will choose. We can upgrade our companion, we can
Hell yeah.
upgrade our combat talent, or we can upgrade our trickster like nature. But Half doesn't really feel like a particular. He's not really a trickster per se. He kind of lies on the occasion and gets away with it.
Yeah.
But it's. Or not. Yeah,
Or
sometimes he
not.
doesn't. Sometimes he nearly gets his head chopped off. Um, so once chat has made their decision, we will choose. Right now it's 50-50, fierce and turn the tide. This is interesting. Who will be the deciding vote? We just need one more person to vote. I kind of want to, but I shouldn't.
I think you can.
I think I can. What do I want? I do think having that bird is pretty cool, and using it in some way. Okay, fierce. We have chosen
Yeah.
that the companion Char, who really hasn't been getting a lot of spotlight time these last couple of sessions, but he's always there with you, your friend
So
Char.
who's there?
You have chosen that when you try to secure an advantage, you can roll +edge using your hawk to harass and distract your foes, add +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit. Okay, so remember that. In combat, you can use him to distract or harass your foes. And there
Let's
just might be some
go.
combat as you enter this hollowed ruin. So, our friend Half is going in. We're going to delve the depths. When you traverse an area, envision your surroundings, and then decide what you're going to roll. So, are you rolling with haste? Are you chasing after the ironmongers? Are you moving in stealthily? Or are you moving in using your observation, intuition, or expertise?
Hmm. We know we determined that the
Very
husks were
dangerous,
dangerous,
yes. It's a
right?
formidable enemy. If you come
Very
across it, it's going to
dangerous.
take quite a battle to defeat it.
Um, I think then I'm gonna move with a bit
All right.
of haste, because yeah, because I just don't know where they are, and there's a good chance that um it could be dangerous, that they could be walking into something they're not
I
ready
think it's a
for.
great decision. You're going to roll +edge to see if you can catch up with them before it's too late.
I don't think I get any modifiers for this
No.
one. Yeah,
Okay.
cool. Oh, a strong
So
hit, but it's complicated.
you can make it a strong hit, and it would be a
Oh,
it would turn from a bad thing, a complication. Well, actually, no, never mind. It would just make it a weak hit. Oh no, it would. It says it would burn momentum to make it a strong
if
hit. If you want to do that,
hmm. What
if it's
happens
a
if I keep it as
complication, you're gonna
complicated?
have to
Does that make things?
roll, and it reveals a danger. You might come up on that fucking husk sooner than later. On a weak hit, roll on the following
Yeah.
table, and there are, good and bad results that could come of this. But a strong hit, you delve deeper, mark progress, and find an opportunity. That's only positive.
Hmm. I always like the drama, but
I mean, you have a nice momentum. If you save the momentum, you'd only be saving it for combat or something like that, or another bad roll.
you know, why don't I haven't tried burning momentum. Let's burn a
Okay, so I
momentum.
think I want to make sure we're doing this right in roll 20. I think there's a way that um, on your character sheet, under the momentum area, there's something
Mhm.
about burn. So maybe
I think
click
there's
that
a
burn button and see
yeah.
what happens. Okay, it goes back to
Oh
2.
wow.
Goes back to 2, but
Yeah.
it makes it a strong hit because you. Why does it do that? It's interesting because I guess it's because it's a double 4. Maybe it gets
Hmm.
rid of both, but like normally a burning momentum just eliminates one of the rolls.
Hmm.
Whatever. I know that Roll20 knows the rules better than I do, so I'm going to go with it's a strong hit. So here's what happens: you delve
Okay.
deeper. You can mark progress, which means that under the sights tab, you can change it. You may add under the see. There's that progress bar of a series of like just squares under formidable.
Yeah. Underneath.
Just put one
Yeah.
kind of asterisk there.
I got you. I got you.
Now, find an opportunity. We are going to. When you find an opportunity, I forgot what you do for that. Let's see. Find an opportunity. The opportunity, you can decide what that opportunity is, or we can just kind of roll for a new feature. Like you come into a new feature of the abandoned ruin or the hollowed ruin.
Ooh. Let's
Okay,
do
so
a new
roll a d100.
feature because I imagine this might be a
Yes,
little bit
exactly.
deeper. Yeah. 100. What a four.
A 44, a collapsed piece of architecture. So I imagine you run in, you rolled a strong hit, so you definitely catch up with them in time. They haven't made much
Mhm.
progress, probably because of this collapsed architecture. They're not sure how to move next. But it
Mhm.
reveals an opportunity of some kind as well. So what could this collapsed architecture? Maybe it leads us to a secondary level of this area, or what else? What else do you think?
I like that, a secondary area, like a stairwell, or like maybe it's like another, like maybe it was one of those like rooms that have like three doors or something
Hmm.
like that, or like another like hallway or lead or something like that. Like one side's collapsed in, but this is like the only one that looks like good and open and like the only
For
way
sure.
to
And maybe
go.
what's been stalling the ironmongers is they want to go in the direction of that collapsed architecture, but you tell
Mhm.
them, look, we got to go around, so we'll go the other way. Okay, cool. So that was a
Yeah.
successful roll, a very successful roll. We can delve the depths again. Let me just make sure that all of the moves are here. In fact, I think if we go to your character sheet, there is a way, if you look at oracles, there is location. Let's see, character, moves. trying to find. Oh yes, if you go to the delve
Look for
function
location.
on the right there,
Delve.
we can. Monstrosity, trap, combat event, threat. Yeah, I guess these don't do the moves. Let's see. The moves might be under the move tab. Let's see. Quest. I don't see.
Delve move?
Oh, you see it?
There's one that says delve moves, and there's like discover site, delve the depths.
Why do I not see it? Under moves?
It's on. Yeah, it's under.
I
moves.
see it now. I see it now. Yes, so with this list, we can continue to delve the depths. We can try to find an opportunity. Check your gear to see if you have something you need. Maybe, the only way to get around this collapsed stuff is to use like a rope to climb up to the second level. What do you think makes sense? It's okay to just continue to delve the depths.
Yeah, part of me just wants to dig deeper. Like this is like we're only at the beginning.
Well, we all know what happened to the dwarves when they dug too deep, but let's do it anyway. So this time you have your ironmongers with you. Are you going to roll with haste again, or maybe with stealth this time?
I think I'm with stealth this time. Now that I'm with the group and we can all move together.
You are going to roll plus shadow this time, and fortunately, shadow is a very good thing for you.
So sneaky. So
sneaky. Okay,
that's a weak hit.
Weak hit. On a weak hit, roll on the following table according to your stat. You used shadow. Please roll a d100.
Hates me so much today, man. 30.
Mark progress, but reveal a danger. So you're going to add another check mark to the sights tab of progress. You do successfully go down this hallway and go deeper in, but we reveal a danger. So go ahead and roll a d100.
Oh boy. I
think what I'll do is I'll just ignore anything that isn't on this dangers list. Dirty 5, as I like to call it. That is collapsing wall or ceiling. Okay, this tracks. You know what I mean? There's collapsed architecture that was blocking you, and now collapsing wall or ceiling. So I think what's literally happening is you guys are traveling down, and something starts to fall. There's some kind of small avalanche, right?
Yeah, like we're like walking, like we're like Half's like leading them and telling them to like tread lightly, and then eventually as they're like all finally get into this space, like all of a sudden you just kind of hear a rumbling, and then like Half looks up and sees that the ceiling is starting to like you're seeing like rubble and like little bit of dust like falling down, but it looks like it's gonna collapse. And then
so
and they turn around.
This sounds like a face danger roll. So you're going to roll depending on what stat you want to use. Are you using speed, agility, or precision to get out of the way? Charm, loyalty, or courage, maybe to help the ironmongers? Some kind of aggressive, forceful action, or are you using deception, expertise, insight, or observation? What do you think you're going to do to avoid this collapse?
I think speed would be the way to go for in terms of Half, but would they have enough time to at least like warn them, or is it just get out of the way?
I think you can warn them. I think that's realistic to kind of yell, but if you're going to like actively try to help them, that's more of a courage thing.
Yeah, no, I just want to like at least like turn around and like tell them that there's danger.
Absolutely.
And then get out of the way.
I think that's totally realistic. Why don't you roll plus edge?
Plus edge.
You don't get any kind of plus unless your assets in some way help you. Face danger. So, when you face danger under Thunderbringer, by hitting or breaking an inanimate object, add +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit. So, you could argue that you like as a piece falls, you like hit it with your hammer and say, "Get out of here!"
Yeah. Yeah, like I see it crumbling and like a piece falls down, and then like half would kind of break it, and that would be like the way to like show them that there's
Nice.
like danger. They'll quickly warn them that danger is, and then get
So
out of the
on this
way.
edge roll,
Um,
you're going to roll +1 on that edge. You gain a +1. Come on, baby, good rolls.
+1. All right, let's
Strong hits,
strong
nice.
hit. Yes.
On a strong hit, you are
Yes.
successful. Take +1 momentum. Yeah, so increase your momentum, but also because it's a strong hit, +1 momentum on a hit. So you gain 2 momentum. Yeah, so you actually go up 2 thanks to that combat talent. That is awesome. So paint the picture.
Sweet.
What happens?
So yeah, so the rubble starts to go down. Half manages to break some of it. He warns the ironmongers really quick that there's danger. He gets out of the way, and as everybody's trying to scatter about, just the ceiling of this room just collapses in. And it's just like rubble, debris, like maybe a smell of like dampness and just like grittiness because we're diving deeper into this mountainside. And then as like the rubble kind of settles, like half kind of like pokes out from somewhere that they've managed to shield themselves.
Yeah, and his early warning, got their attention soon enough that they could jump through with him. So they're all still together.
Yeah, so everybody's together. Everybody looks a little shaken, but like safe. And now everybody's kind of assessing, like, how bad this damage is. It's like, did it block us in? Are we trapped now, or what do we have to do?
Good question. You could gather information for it, or we could just make an oracle roll of, are we trapped in here or not? What do you think? See, if you gather information, you could potentially succeed and gain progress, which is kind of what we want to do to get out of here.
Yeah. Why don't we do
Okay,
that?
so
why don't we gather information?
Gotcha. So everyone is in this kind of dark area. It's hard to see. And the question comes, are we stuck here? So half goes out to kind of figure it out. You're going to roll plus wits. And I think that's it. I always forget whether gather information is a part of any of your assets, but they are not.
They're not, no. So that's a weak hit.
Okay. On a weak hit, the information complicates your quest or introduces a new danger. Envision what you discover and take +1 momentum. So you may increase your momentum. And it says a danger could be revealed. We could roll on the delve location to find out what that danger is.
Sure.
I love how much my players love to get in trouble. So roll me a D100.
Oh no.
25. Embodiment of a god or myth. Embodiment of a god or myth.
Oh no, it's the husks.
Oh snap. Oh snap.
It has to be the husks.
Yeah, so I imagine like everybody dived to safety only to find themselves like almost like in a, like not a mausoleum, but like a what's it called when like where you put dead bodies? A catacomb of some kind.
Oh my
Oh snap.
It's just husks. Oh my god, what if they came out of the ceiling? What if it was like the level above? And when the roof collapsed, there's now just like coffins or like just like all just like husks everywhere. Just
that's
scattered.
freaky as hell.
So many husks.
Yeah, so there's these dark black bodies that maybe look like they were once mummified or something. We need to decide whether they're actually alive or not. Maybe something has to activate them, or maybe only one of them is active. Let's make an oracle roll. How likely do you think it is that any of these things are active and will start attacking?
I feel like it's got to be up to chance. I think it's got to be a 50-50.
Okay, if it's 51 or greater,
50-50.
one of them or possibly more of them are alive. So roll that 51. Or, excuse me, roll the D100. 94!
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, no.
One of them is alive. At least one of them is conscious. Let's decide whether more than one or not.
Is that a
I think another
another
oracle
oracle
roll. 51 or greater, and more than one is possibly alive.
roll?
Oh,
11.
okay.
Oh my god.
So only one of these husks comes to life, and I imagine it even comes out of the ceiling ready to attack.
Yeah,
And it's
like you just hear like a noise, just like a clicking or so, like the sounds of like bones unstretching,
yeah. The sound of
and then
leathery
it's just like,
skin.
and we're all just like turned around. There's this husk. No.
Oh snap! Okay, now here's an interesting wrinkle. What are the chances that the leader that was left behind became a husk, or are they in some way different? Are they maybe turned to iron?
I mean, I don't know. We haven't found the leader
No,
yet,
we haven't.
technically.
And there's been lots of time for these husks to have their way with him. Do we want to make an oracle
Yeah.
roll, or do we just want to focus on stopping this fucking husk first?
Let's
All
stop the
right.
husk first, and then we'll figure out what what more it
So
is.
to me, the options are you continue to try to find a way out, or you fight alongside the ironmongers. What do you think Half would do?
I think in this instance, because they're the only ones that understand that there's something more to this husk than just a random dangerous creature. Because I think that's what the ironmongers assume, that's it's just a random zombie or a
Hmm.
creature that they've seen before. I think Half's gonna have to step in and help them out. Both in like a selfish reason to like understand what it really is, but also at the same time, like maybe I should help them. They're probably together
Together we're
gonna
strong.
be as a group. Together we're
Right.
strong, and we're gonna be able to get out of this together. Not time yet to betray people.
Okay, you are going to enter the fray. When you enter into combat, set the rank of each of your foes. So first, let's do that in our character sheet. Go to progress, the progress tab,
For sure.
and we're going to write in a husk. And I'm going to tell you all the stats of the husk. It's really not that complicated. I think I read that it was a formidable... Yeah, so it's a formidable enemy. Its features are withered flesh and black eyes, clawed fingernails, a horrifying wail. Its drives are... You don't necessarily have to write these down. I'm just kind of letting you come to understand what this thing is. Its drives are to become more powerful, make others suffer as they have, restore their former self. Their tactics are to dishearten with a dreadful howl, to lash out with forbidden magic, and to blind lesser creatures to their will, and to consume the essence of others. So this is very much like a classic mummy or something like that is trying to drain the life from these characters. So because it's a formidable enemy, every time we make progress against it, I think we're only going to mark one progress, but it inflicts 3 harm. So if you're at a +5 health and it attacks you, it's going to remove 3 health from you, which is not good. So it is a mean mother slucker. So let's go to enter the fray. Let's enter the fray here. You are going to enter into combat. We've decided that it is a formidable enemy. You're going to then roll to determine who is in control. If you are facing off against your foe, you're going to roll plus heart. If you are moving into a position against an unaware foe, that doesn't count, and you are not ambushed. So the only thing that makes sense is you're going to roll plus heart.